this is June on another interview for Success Talks. Firstly, thank you very much for doing this.
Pleasure.
I'm just going to ask a couple of quick fire questions. I know you've got a talk coming up, but I thought we'd like to go a little bit deeper just to get a bit more information about yourself.
Good.
So the first one is you are the founder of the We Symposium.
I am.
What is the We Symposium?
We stands for Women, Inspiration and Enterprise, and I co-founded it over 5 years ago in New York with the support of Ariana Huffington, Sarah Brown and Donna Karen. I co-founded it with a great Ghanaian girl actually called Dee Poku. The whole ethos of We is to bring together this generation's leaders to pay it forward to the next generation. And so we've had amazing speakers over the years, everybody from Melinda Gates to Queen Rania to Jill Biden, you name it, any Uber woman you can imagine has spoken at our conference at some point. Only person we haven't had yet is Michelle Obama, but we've had everyone else.
You're working on it, right?
Yeah, I think we'll get Michelle at some point.
So in terms of mentors, who is your mentor growing up, or do you have any now?
Yeah, I think everyone needs them. My mentors, I have a few. I have a wonderful, I tend to collect baronesses in a weird way. So I've got Baroness McDonough, who's a wonderful woman. I've got Baroness Amos, Baroness Scotland. They're my three. Yeah, I'd say they're probably my professional mentors. And Wahid Ali's been very good to me as well.
Why is mentorship important?
I think mentorship is important just in terms of guidance and, someone who's maybe done it before. But I also do think there's something to be said for learning on your own, because there's a lot made out of mentorship, and I think it's important. But I think what's much more important is probably role models. You don't always need to know the people that you look up to. Sometimes it's just nice to know they exist, actually. Because sometimes you meet them and they're a disappointment. So it's sometimes better to just have the person up there.
In terms of your career, what's been the biggest challenge today? And as a black woman, would you say there's any challenges that you faced?
Yeah, of course. In terms of my career, biggest challenge, I think the biggest challenge is probably the voice in my own head, to be honest. We all have to sort of overcome the self-doubt and how you move beyond that to do big things that you've never done before. So I think the most important thing is the voice in your own head and how not to be impacted by things that seem not to be going right, because then you keep your focus on wherever it is that you want to go. Somehow, the universe just then shifts it all into place if you can remain calm. Challenges as a black woman, I don't think we can pretend. We don't live yet in a fully equal, in fact, that's one of the things I'll be talking about a bit later, a fully equal, fair and balanced society. There are a lot of people, and we all have them, with sort of inbuilt prejudices that they might not even realize that they have. And I think everybody has them to a degree. But, what are you going to do? You can't not do stuff because of that. Yes, you know that chances are there are minds that need to be changed, but hey, it makes life, I think, more interesting.
Most definitely. And I know that over the years you've interviewed a wide array of people, from Bill Clinton to Tony Blair. You've been on stage with Will Smith and Nelson Mandela's party. How do you do that? As in, what do you reckon's made you stand out from the crowd? Because there are some people that dream about doing that but will never get anywhere near it. How would you say you put yourself out there, put yourself in that position?
I think I was lucky in that. I think I was in the right place at the right time. Definitely, I sort of started at the right time where TV still meant something. unlike now. Yeah. I mean TV, I don't watch TV, so that kind of says a lot. I watch everything online. Yeah, so TV still meant something when I started. And I really like people. Not everyone likes people. So a lot of people think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. But this is a job, you have to like people to do this job. And you have to be good with people. If you're not good with people, you don't like people. It's like, no point trying to be a sort of a forward-facing politician in in the sort of the number one position, as it were, if you don't like people. You know, you're not going to get voted for. So, well, I didn't say that. But so it's the same with TV in the sense that, you know, you do have to like people and be good with people for presenting, not necessarily as a comedian, not as an actress, not necessarily, but for presenting where you have to interview people and you have to make people feel comfortable enough to open up to you. There's got to be that natural rapport.
And who's been your most memorable interview?
Well, I mean, Nelson Mandela's pretty cool, isn't he? I mean, how can you ever forget him? To be honest, the interviews I enjoy tend to be sort of real people, if that's the term. But yeah, I find real life stories much more interesting than sort of celeb stories.
Okay. And your background, obviously, you started off with Pop Planet and then T4. Do you feel that where you started from has been a hindrance in terms of reaching out to the political aspects or going into the more serious, in inverted commas?
I don't think so. I think it's actually been a benefit because I would say I am no means Jeremy Paxman or whatever. I don't want to be honest. I think what I may be able to do is make social issues a bit more palatable to a mass audience who probably aren't interested in that sort of stuff. And you know, my thing that makes me passionate is how you look at leveling the playing field, and also how you bring a wider audience into issues that matter. And at the moment, it's very much a sort of an insular conversation of between educated, an educated, privileged few. And I don't think that's actually really a democracy, if that's the only voice you're ever hearing.
And what are your plans for the future? And what would you like your legacy to be like, looking back in like 40, 50 years?
Well, I hope I'm still alive. Well, I believe the world's a nice place to be. 50 years from now, wow. Yeah, I don't know. Legacy, you know, the next phase of my life, to be honest, I really want to focus. I mean, I'll always do TV. I love it, but I really want to focus on business. So I think for me, it's growing confidence in that arena, and I'd really like to grow a great company that has the hiring policies of the sort of world I'd like to see. So that for me is the next phase.
Okay, and finally, Success Talks. Why are you on the platform and what's brought you here today, and what would you like people to take away from the talk?
I'm on the platform because you asked me. So I said yes. Well, I hope. I mean, I think it's. I think so often people of colour for many years have, you know, been. You know, we haven't had the easiest ride, and I think actually still in terms of the way we're portrayed in the media, the way we're seen by the rest of society, and a lot of the time the way we have seen ourselves isn't necessarily accurate or balanced, and the sort of the nuances that are allowed for other races don't seem to be applied when it comes to black people, in the sense that, you know, with other groups, there are all kinds of people. That goes without saying. So if one person does something bad, it does not somehow impact the whole group. That's not necessarily the same. So I think it's important to just have a bit more balance. And I think it's just important for young people to see themselves as fully formed human beings and not carry that label. That isn't their label. Yeah. That's a label that's been placed on them by somebody else. And that's hard. That takes years of mental, undoing, because everywhere you go, you're still seeing that. But I think that's why something like this is important.
Great. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.